What is happening, my YT gang? Y'all already know what time it is. We are back with another one. Today, we got to get straight to it. I don't know what I just witnessed, but that was not the Super Bowl contending Kansas City Chiefs that we seen out there on that field. It looked like a national championship football game. Georgia versus TCU, to be exact. What in the world happened to my boy Patrick Mahomes? What happened to the Hall of Famer Travis Kelce, the Hall of Famer head coach, the Hall of Famer defensive coordinator? I do not know what happened, but my boy Patrick Mahomes, man, he was running for his life. He was running for dear life all game long. And because of that, everybody is talking about whether my boy Patrick Mahomes should be in the conversation of being the GOAT. Okay. Now, if I was to give my opinion, I would definitely say that the GOAT conversation should come to a halt just for a second. Not saying that it's completely out, you know what I'm saying? Because my boy Patrick Mahomes is still Patrick Mahomes. But because of the fact that he lost like that, I think we just got to slow it down for a second. But if you ask Shannon Sharp and Stephen A. Smith, man, it's a whole nother conversation. Okay, it's a whole nother conversation in which I got the footage. You know I'm going to drop that. You already know it. But that Philadelphia Eagles defense, man, they did not give him anything. You understand what I'm saying? I have not seen my boy Patrick Mahomes get sacked this many times in a single game in a while. And I'm going to go ahead and say this. I feel like Patrick Mahomes had the most rushing yards that game. He had to rush over 100 yards, going sideline to sideline, trying to avoid every single defender that was in the backfield. I mean, Patrick Mahomes, I've never seen him look this bad. I haven't. In the first half, this man had a QBR of 1. He ended with a QBR rating of 11. I think 11.4. This man had 11.4, man. That is the second worst QB rating in Super Bowl history. Oh my gosh, Pat. But like I said, when it comes to Patrick Mahomes being considered the greatest of all time, that kind of got to take a back seat now. Now, I'm not sitting here saying that conversation is completely over with, because we still can't deny the accomplishments that he's been able to make since he became a starter. Like winning 3 out of 4 Super Bowls, like going to 7 straight AFC championships, being a 3-time Super Bowl MVP, being a 2-time regular season MVP. He still has a lot of accolades that keeps him in that conversation. And yes, I do feel like if he was able to three-peat, being the fact that he would have been the only quarterback to ever three-peat in Super Bowl history, if he would have went out there and got 1 or 2 more rings, conversation was over with. He was considered the greatest of all time in my eyes. But now that he did not accomplish that, I kind of feel like he need to go out here. First of all, he need to make sure that he never lose another Super Bowl game. I don't think he need to have the same amount of losses that Tom Brady has. All right. And I feel like if he can do that and get at least 6 rings, he'll be the GOAT. And then when you look at Travis Kelce, who's arguably the greatest of all time in his position at tight end, this man could not get open. Not only was he struggling to get open, he could not make a catch to save his life. He looked real slow out there. And this is my question. What is he going to do from here? Is he going to retire? I say just get out before it get bad, man. You know, end on a high note. I mean, you made it to the Super Bowl. You didn't win the Super Bowl. You look bad in the Super Bowl. But at the same time, you can still end on a high note. And then we go over to Andy Reid. Oh, my goodness, man. He just looked confused. He didn't know what to do. That whole team just looked defeated. When you looked at their sideline, you could tell. You could just tell. They knew they could not do nothing with the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, one thing I do want to say, I want to give a huge shout out to my boy Jalen Hurts. Okay, he did something that I don't think anybody thought that he was going to be able to do in this Super Bowl game. To be honest with you, I think everybody had the same conversation. Give Saquon the ball. Okay, we all thought that if you stop Saquon Barkley, the Philadelphia Eagles was going to be in trouble. There's not one person. Let me tell you something. If you can look me dead in my face and tell me that you thought that Jalen Hurts was going to go out there and do what he did in the Super Bowl, well, you're lying. You're lying. When it comes to the next season, where are we going to rate him amongst the other quarterbacks? No, we know he's not a Lamar Jackson. Yes, we know he's not a Patrick Mahomes. He's not a Josh Allen. But one thing I can say for sure is this man just knows how to win. I mean, when you look back at Alabama, even when he transferred to Oklahoma, none of his games was just that great, right? It wasn't like he was throwing for 400 yards and all this good stuff. But at the same time, this man just could not stop winning. I mean, think about it. Out of 3 years, this man has been to the Super Bowl twice. Okay, so when it comes to his stats, I feel like we can go ahead and throw them to the side because to me, that does not matter anymore, especially if he continues to find ways to win like he's doing right now. But let me stop running my mouth and go ahead and see what my boy Stephen A. and Shannon Sharp had to say about this whole situation. Drop that footage.
It's officially over. There's nothing to talk about. It's officially.
And nothing you can
do. No, I'm not saying there's nothing you can do,
Okay.
but we can look years down the road.
Yeah,
We're talking about right now in the moment.
Okay.
We ain't gonna be talking about this right now.
Yeah.
We ain't gonna be talking about this next
Yeah.
year. Let me just throw out these stats for you to get right here. This is Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl 3-2 record, 65% completion, 265 yards, all right, 10 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, a passer rating of 86.9, okay? Even though he's won 3 Super Bowl MVPs. You're talking about Tom Brady with a 7-3 record. His record speaks for itself, 5-time Super Bowl MVP, all of that stuff. We got to bring Joe Montana back into this conversation because of what we witnessed yesterday. Joe Montana, 4-0, 68% completions, 285.5 pounds, 11 touchdowns, not a single interception ever, okay? A 127.8 passer rating, and he's also a 3-time Super Bowl MVP. So again, the fact that after this Super Bowl, it's one thing to be talking about Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady. After this Super Bowl, we talk about Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, and Joe Montana. Montana's been back added to the conversation, okay? You got to look at it from that standpoint. And then you got to look at the 2 losses. They were both blowouts.
Yes.
Both of them.
Yeah.
Both of them in annihilation. Tampa Bay, for the same reason. They had Patrick Mahomes running for his life. We actually took track statistics for Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl against Tampa Bay because he had to run that much, okay? Yesterday, it wasn't even about that. It was about 4 dudes on the Philadelphia Eagles defense that bum rushed them and told us, we got this. We don't blitz at all. We got them. Told them about it. Let them know from opening tap. And the brothers looked demoralized and hopeless inside of 5 minutes. It was that damn bad. And when you take that into consideration and you exacerbate the issue by throwing a pick 6 and by throwing another interception at your own 14-yard line, essentially giving them 14 points. That's why he said what he said. He's phenomenal. He's great. One game doesn't make Patrick Mahomes a 3-time Super Bowl MVP. We know what that is. But in the end, when you talk about that GOAT conversation, that went the hell out the window last night at Super Bowl 59.
Yeah, until maybe if he gets to 5, he gets to 5, maybe we can revisit this guy.
Right.
But he beat him twice head-to-head, you know, in that AFC Championship game and in the Super Bowl, 2 different teams.
Yeah, but I don't look at it like that because think about it. Okay, Tom beat Patrick, but Tom also lost to
Eli Manning twice.
He lost to Eli and Nick Foles.
Twice. And Nick Foles. So we can't go by just that.
Right. So if we look at it, I think down the road, if we get down the road, guys, and he can get to 6, we might have to, if he can get to 7. Because I thought if he won this one, Stephen A., a 3-peat, wins another one, guys, 5. And in the course of winning 5, and in that 5, there was a 3-peat because we love 3-peat.
Right.
That's what Stephen A. throws in my face all the time.
That's right. Because it never happened with LeBron. It never happened with LeBron. But go ahead.
I'm just saying.
But go ahead.
He likes 3-peats.
Okay.
But Stephen A., you said it. You and I were talking about this. It's not that he lost. It's how he's losing.
That's right.
I mean, 31-9, 40-22. And y'all know I don't like empty calories. I like to eat nutritious food. Chicken breast, you know what I'm saying? Lean company. That's empty calories. That's Twinkies. That's cupcakes. That's donuts. Those are empty calories. And then you look at Patrick Mahomes' stats, you see 257, 3 touchdowns. But come on, guys. At one point in time, that score was 40-6. That game wasn't no 40-22 game. No. That was a 40 ass whipping.
Yes.
And the Eagles laid it on them. So you're right. Until for the next 5 years, ain't no more GOAT conversation. Ain't no GOAT talk when it comes to quarterback or football
at least the next 3 years.
Yeah.
At least the next.
Now if he goes back in the next 3 years, guys, and he gives 2 more, we're gonna have to revisit.
We can revisit.